G'day guys, today I'm going to show you how to replace a clutch. This is a Holden Rodeo, but this also applies to all other vehicles that are manual and some trucks. So I'm going to show you how to replace it and show you how to replace the bearing that pushes the clutch on. You normally would replace the clutch if it starts slipping and you can't get it into the gear. It'll get into gear normally, but when you release the clutch it doesn't engage and you just sit there and you're not moving. So this video will show you how to replace it. So I'm going to cut through the chase, get your car up on a stand, take your transmission off from the motor, then I'll show you how to do that from there. So once you've got your transmission out and you pulled it out from the vehicle, you can then give it a clean. So only clean the inside, just get some degreaser and just spray the insides with degreaser. Everything's all sealed, so there's no chance of going it in. So now this is the clutch, or the housing. As you can see, this one's all worn out. When you take these off, they're going to be very dusty. They're going to have lots of fibres. Could be asbestos, but depending on the age of the vehicle, it probably was ruled out, so it might not be. I still cleaned it and degreased everything in and around it with water, so that way none of the fibres I'm breathing in. So just start off by taking all these bolts out. Just give your spanner a knock, so that way you can take it out without it turning on you. Like so. So now what you want to do is just clean all the dust up, clean all this up. So just get some methylated spirits or something and just clean the flywheel. I'm not replacing the flywheel on this one, so I'm just going to leave it all alone, so I'm not going to touch the bolts or anything. So if you do have to replace the flywheel, you'll see you should be able to feel it, and if it feels really rough and got lots of grooves in it, it needs to be machined. A lot of places do it. I'm not going to bother with this one, just because this is again a project vehicle where, I mean, it's either going to get smashed or trashed anyway. So this is just, I'm not going to bother replacing. So clean this up as best you can. So once you've cleaned all that up, what you want to do is get your clutch plate, whatever this is, and what you want to do is then you need a clutch alignment tool. They're only about a couple of bucks. Get one that fits in the center, needs to be nice and tight, and what you want to do, put that in your clutch and then center that in the middle. That's just going to make it aligned, so when you push your plate back on, it's all going to be nice aligned, it's going to be all perfect, and it's not going to be in the way. So if you don't have a clutch alignment tool, you can do this by ironing off the center to make sure that it is centered. But when you get your gearbox and you slide it in place, it won't slide in place properly, so you want to make sure that's nice and snug. What you want to do is now get your other plate, and you want to put this one back in place. So you want to make sure that the screws all line up and the holes. Once this is on, that should all go in nicely. Just put your screws in, just so it's light, like so. Just do them by finger for now, don't go tightening them right up. Make sure that you've got all of them in. Like so. Now what you want to do is tighten this up diagonally. So you want to go cross cross, up down, and make sure that you tighten them up evenly. There's no thread locker on this one, so you can put thread locker on it if you like, but because this one doesn't have thread locker, we won't worry about it. So I just give it a little spin, give it a little wiggle just so I can see it's all in place. Make sure that when you align it, everything's all nice and centered, so that way when you do go to put on your gearbox, it's going to be easy. Now tighten them all up. Like so. Once you're all done up, double check that it is centered in the middle. So now we're going to replace this, the bearing. You're going to need a press, you're going to knock it out. That will come off, and then your new one will go on. But first of all, just clean all that up. So you want it back on, so the new housing is just like that. Just tap it on with the hammer, make sure you hit the edge, you don't actually hit the center, and that's how you replace the bearing. So now what you want to do is when you've got your new bearing, just clean all the fingerprints and crap off it, make sure it's all nice and clean. When you install this is your rod, so what you want to make sure is that the springs are facing downwards. When you go pull it apart, just have a look at it, take a photo, so that way you know where the things are, so that way you're not going to misplace anything. So this faces outwards as your piston slides in between there, and that's what pushes your clutch on and off when you push the clutch in. So slide this in like so, so that way it sits there freely and your clips hold it in, so that way it doesn't fall out. So now what you want to do is just apply some grease inside the bearing, so that way when it slides onto the rod, it's going to move easy. I just applied at both ends. Put a nice amount in there. Making sure not to go too far into the bearing. And then if you want, you can just place a little bit of grease on this shaft. Now this just slides into the boot, making sure you go that way, so the moving bearing goes on the outside. So slide this into your boot, and then that slides straight over, like so, like that. Make sure that it moves in and out easy, and it's not catching or anything, like so. So when you push your clutch on, this will shift it outwards, like so. So when you push on the clutch, that will pivot. So now what you can do, you can put a little bit of grease in this little hole, like so. And I'll put a bit of grease on the outsides of that. It's a little. That's the pivot point for the clutch, so make sure that's well greased. like so. Now it's time to install the gearbox, get that on, and then we can test it. So once you've got your gearbox back in, or the transmission, you can connect all your bolts, connect it all back up to the motor. Then what you can do is you can then test drive it out. Excuse the mess, it is a project vehicle. So when you install a new clutch, you want to take it easy. Don't go doing hard driving, or don't go holding the clutch and at lights and all that. You've just got to wear it in. You've got to take it easy. Then you can take it, test it out. So you can hop in. Once you put all your levers back in, your gear shift levers, make sure it's in neutral. Then we can start her up and test her out. So now the car wants to move. So now that's all working and the clutch is actually engaging, so now it's actually going to be working well for us. We can take it out for a test drive. At the moment I can't take it for a test drive because I've got no brakes installed. So that's what I'm currently doing next. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and if there's anything that you'd like me to show you how to fix or what to do, just throw a comment down below and I'll look into doing that video. Thanks again guys, thanks for your support, peace.